wanted to jump on really quickly. On this channel, we grow heart equity, personal, relational, and financial wealth that we obtain through authentic living. And we do that via real estate, um, emotional wellness, and emotional intelligence, growth, and development, right? So, I wanted to jump on today and just encourage you guys, wherever you are, to push past your fears, right? And I know you hear that a lot. You may hear people reference that a lot, but I think that sometimes when we hear the the term "fake it until you make it," sometimes people say faith, faith, faith it until you make it. Um, and then, sometimes you hear people say, just do it afraid, just do it afraid. And I agree with that. But what I also think that we need to keep in mind is that it really takes a lot of courage to be yourself, but it's so comfortable. When you are uncomfortable trying something new, going to a new place, starting a new venture, it's all of the unknowns, right? And we all, that's a human thing. A lot of times you are nervous or anxious. Some people may call it excited about it, but it can be scary, right? But it's also a space for you to find more of yourself. It's also, when you push past your fears, you find out more about you than you knew about yourself before. Sometimes pushing past your fears looks like changing your expectations. Sometimes pushing past your fears means that you stop being so hard on yourself. Maybe you have put certain expectations and certain goals in place. Maybe you feel like you are, um, your standards are so high for yourself that, and because of those standards now, you might feel like a failure, or you might feel like you can't reach a certain goal because, um, you've just set your expectations of yourself so high, right? And I can say that to you because over the last week I've been having these conversations with people that I really love, and one theme that just keeps coming back up in those conversations with my loved ones is that I am too hard on myself. I have placed expectations on myself that can sometimes be unrealistic, and those expectations can, on the outside looking in, it could look like I'm trying to be perfect. It can look like I am trying to, um yeah, I'm trying to be perfect. I'm trying to, hello Caitlin. It can look like I'm trying to be perfect. It can look like I am doing too much. It could look like I am, um my expectations of others are unrealistic. It can also come across as if I'm unfair. Who is it? Logan. Hey, Logan. Hey, Flapperjacks. How y'all doing today? So, in these conversations, I'm going through a rough area. So, if you can't hear me or something for a little while, just it shouldn't last for long. So, because I've had these conversations with people that I love, and they are telling me how they are experiencing me. They are highly driven. They are experiencing as like overworking. They're experiencing me as being a busybody. Um, and in my mind, like at first when I would hear that in the past, I would be offended, right? Because that's not how I feel on the inside. But what I realized is I heard it from three different people this week, and they told it to me in three different ways. But all three ways were very loving and very caring. And I realized that I am afraid of failing. I am afraid of messing up. I am afraid of going back to the poverty that I experienced as a younger child, as a teenager. I am afraid of going back to feeling like my back is up against the wall and I'm in these life or death situations. It very much feels like sink or swim when I'm pursuing something and maybe it's not working out the way I wanted to, or maybe the results are not what I had expected, right? And I then in turn I get very hard on myself, right? But I'm looking at, okay, what did I do? Why didn't this work? Why didn't we get the outcome we were looking for? And what I'm now realizing is all of that behavior, all of that showing up like that is just it's me pushing. I'm learning how to push past fear. My fear has been not getting it right. My fear has been that I'm gonna always have to struggle and figure it out and try to, it's like I keep going back to being like that 14 or 15-year-old that figured out she had to take care of herself, right? I keep going back to being that 17-year-old, 18-year-old mom that's like, wow, my parents not taking care of me. Now I got to go take care of me and my daughter, right? And now at 42 years old, I'm having to remind myself, you are not that teenage girl no more. You're doing a lot better. You have come a long way. And your fear of messing up, your fear of failure, I can understand why you may feel that way, but this is not that. And I know I'm not the only one that wrestles with these thoughts and feelings. I also know that a lot of us struggle with putting this into words. But maybe even what I'm right now might not make sense to you all the way, but you can feel what I'm saying right now, right? You can feel it because you too feel that pressure. You feel that pressure to always get it right. You feel that pressure I know the sacrifices my mom made, my grandmother made, my great grandmother made. Like, I know about that, and I don't want to let them down. I don't want to fail. I know that I have worked to achieve certain things in my life. And when things don't work out the way I think they should, sometimes it does feel like all hope is lost. Sometimes it does feel like I'm just a failure and I just messed it all up, right? But and so part of me pushing past fear is pushing past those thoughts, pushing past those beliefs, right? And I know it's scary. We live in a society that just say, oh, just suck it up, just figure it out, go harder, follow up more, show up more, work harder, work harder. And I just can't, that is not settling well in my soul anymore. I do believe in hard work. I do believe in doing it right, but I just feel like there's a way, there's a rhythm that God is calling us to that is maybe slower than the rhythm we thought is the rhythm of life we need to be on. And I just want to encourage you, it's scary to do something new. It's scary to change paths and change routines. It's scary to acknowledge this is not working for me, even if it looks like it's working for everybody else. So when we talk about pushing past fear here in our village, in our heart village, you know, this is what it's about. It's about confronting those thoughts that only you know about. You and the inside of you, because you don't even really have the courage to talk about this with other people because you don't want them to judge you. You don't want them to criticize you. You don't want them to think less of you, right? So you hide those fears. You suppress those fears. But guess what happens? It shows up in other areas of your life. It shows up like increased blood pressure. It shows up in blood, like when you go get your blood work and all your levels might be off. Sometimes, yeah, it's your food, but it could also be the emotions and the feelings that you have inside that you are not addressing. You're just trying to cover them up. And now there's havoc in your life. Maybe your relationships are out of whack. Maybe you keep bumping heads with somebody you love. And if you told them the truth about what you're afraid of, what your challenges are, you would find yourself in a better situation, a better circumstance. Even as I tell y'all this, it's like I'm getting emotional because I'm encouraging you to push past your fears, but it looks a little different. I'm not telling you to crank it up a higher notch. I'm actually telling you to slow it down. I'm telling you to rest a little bit. I'm telling you to pull over to the rest stop, recharge yourself, get clear on your directions in the direction that you want to go, and do something new and do something different. That's what I'm encouraging you to do. I'm encouraging you because sometimes some of us, it's not even so much that you're afraid of doing it. You're just afraid of messing up. You're just afraid of not getting it right. You're afraid of being a failure. And I think God is just redefining how we look at failure. I think God is redefining how we look at getting it right. And it takes courage. It's like you hear people talk about a paradigm shift. I feel like God is calling us to a paradigm shift. I feel like God is calling us to be kinder to ourselves, to slow down, to settle in. Your dreams, your visions, they will come true. They might not come true in the time frame that you thought. It might not look the way you thought it was supposed to look, but I promise you, it's working out for your good. It might not happen on the schedule that you thought it was supposed to happen, but I promise you, it's working out for your good. And some of us just got to push past the fear of looking like a fool. You got to push past, and it's not even about what's going on right now in your life for a lot of us. A lot of us are struggling to do that new thing, to put ourselves out there, to make that call, to send that email, to apologize. You were wrong. You did something wrong. You dropped the ball. You've been trying to find ways to make it somebody else's fault because you can't take another L. You are afraid to acknowledge that you're messing up. You're not getting it right. And in your life, like if you grew up the way I grew up, it felt like making a mistake was like life or death. And you just don't want to deal with that pain anymore. So you try to be normal. You try to be average. You try to be ordinary. But even in that, you're uncomfortable because there's something on the inside of you that is calling, is longing to come out. And you got to let it out. You got to release it. You got to be willing to push past that fear. I hope this is helping you. I really hope this is making sense to you. And I do encourage you, if you hear this and you think that there's somebody you know or you love that could benefit from this message, share this video with them. Encourage them. There might be somebody going through something in life and they're just beating themselves up because they just feel like it's not working out. It's working out. It just might not be working out the way they thought. What I learned from one of my coaches is everything you do is always working out. Everything you do is always working out. You just might not be getting the outcomes you were looking for, but the outcomes that you need are taking place. And it takes growth for you to be able to distinguish between the two. The outcomes that you're getting might not be what you were expecting, but it's what you need to get to the destination you want to be in. You want to be happy, you want to enjoy your life, you want to be successful, you want to make a lot of money, you want to be able to travel, you want to get along with your family and friends, you want to be in a loving relationship, you want people to care about you, you want people to support you, you want people to come to your rescue the way you come to theirs. Then you got to be willing to see your life from a different perspective. You got to be willing to shift. You got to be willing to shift. And shifting is scary. And it all goes back to pushing past that fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. That's one of the acronyms that I've heard for fear. But it's false evidence appearing real. So there's evidence in front of you, but how you're defining that evidence is false. It's not real. There's a new definition that you can use. There's a new perspective. It's just like the word, like certain words have multiple meanings, right? You can say there and there, THEIR means something different than THERE, there. And so sometimes we look at life and we see one thing or we hear something, but it's not that. It sounds alike, sounds the same, but they have different meanings. And so the situation in your life right now might look like a failure. It might look like you wasted your time, your effort, your energy, your resources, but maybe you didn't. Maybe God is just allowing you to redefine what you're going through. Maybe there's another definition for what you're going through. And you have to be willing to do the work to get through this, right? We are living in a time in our life where you got to do your emotional work. You, what I call your heart work. You cannot get around it. Trying to suppress your feelings and you don't have time to deal with your emotions can literally kill you. It could take you out. It could unalive you for real. Literally and figuratively. So I just encourage you. Don't give up. Stick with it. I love you. Push past your fears. You got this. And I'll be back again soon to have some heart talk with you. Okay? Love y'all. Bye.